Welcome to Fat Over 40. My name's Miles, and in this episode we're going to look at my latest body scan. Now, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. There's a new film every single Friday, and if you like what you hear, please give us a thumbs up. But more importantly, comment down below. Let me know if you've had a scan and what you think. Now, I had my DEXA scan just over a week ago now, and that is 3 months since I had my previous scan. If you want to look at my first scan, which was back in January, then I'll put a little link at the end of this video. But I'm just going to give you an update, some comparatives between what happened this time versus last time. Now, this body scan used, it's a DEXA scan, and this was originally designed to detect osteoporosis within your bones, but they found that there was an additional use to tracking body fat, lean muscle mass, and your bone density. So this is like a 3-in-1 scan. You lie on a bed and this machine goes up and down over you for a few minutes. You just lie still and you get this reading. So I'll put some visuals up on screen so you can see what you get in terms of the report. But let's rattle through it. So my weight. When I weighed in January, I weighed in at 105.8 kilos. When I weighed in a week ago, I was 103.8 kilos. So I've lost 2 kilos in weight over 3 months, which is not amazing. I'm not that surprised, as really my food hasn't been as good as it should be. But in the last few weeks, I've been pretty good, and I'm continuing that trend now. So that's good. So down 2 kilos in weight. In terms of my body fat percentage was 26%. It's now dropped down to 24.2, so I'm really pleased about that. BMI, which we know really isn't a great sort of indicator of how things are going, but I was at 33, I'm now at 32.4. Now, the result that I'm most happy with is my visceral fat. So we've got 2 types of fat within our body. There's the subcutaneous fat, which is the stuff that sits on the surface, and there's the viscous fat, which is the stuff that lines your organs. Yeah. Now we all need a little bit of visceral, I can't even say it, fat. We all need a little bit of fat around our organs because it protects them, but we don't need too much, right? And I definitely have had too much. So my reading last time was on the border of being very dangerous for me. So anything above 100 apparently is dangerous. My reading was 99.7 when I went in January, and this time round it was 82.1. So that's a drop of 17.6 in my visceral fat, so I'm really happy about that. Also, I've learned that in terms of fat loss within the body, you lose fat from around your organs first before you start to lose this subcutaneous fat. So this is good news. My fat versus height ratio, which was one of the specific numbers that I was trying to target to reduce last time round, it was 8.61, and that's now down to 7.90. So again, I need to keep driving that number down. So the amount of fat, body fat, that I have lost in the last 3 months is 2.2 kilos. So I'm really happy about that. If you put 2.2 kilos of fat on a plate, it would look quite big, I guess. And I've also put on 800 grams of muscle, so nearly 1 kilo in muscle. So like a net loss of 3 kilos, I suppose. But talking to the guy that did the scan, he was really happy that I'd managed to lose body fat and gain muscle mass, which is something that's really quite tricky and difficult to do. Let's talk about my legs, because specifically in my training at the moment, I'm trying to increase the mass on my left leg, and I'll put a picture on the screen now where you can actually physically see on the scan that my left leg, where I had an ACL reconstruction 20 years ago, my left leg is thinner and my calf specifically is a lot smaller than my right hand side. Now on my legs, I thought I'd put on muscle on my legs. I'd gone through a 12-week squatting cycle, which I just thought I'd built muscle up on my legs. So I have lost 337 grams on my left leg of fat, and I've lost 310 grams of fat on my right leg. I've also lost 166 grams of muscle on my left leg, and I've lost 121 grams of muscle on my right leg. So I've lost quite a lot of fat and quite a lot of muscle, like nearly half a kilo of fat and muscle on my left leg and 430 grams on my right leg. So I'm a little bit stumped about that, but look, it is what it is, right? So I've lost 1.2% fat on both my legs, so I've got to be happy with that. And yeah, I mean, there was loads of detail, loads of numbers that came off of this particular scan, but those are the highlights. So look, all in all, in 3 months, am I really happy about progress? Well, I'm not unhappy about progress, but it could have been better. And I'm determined. I mean, I could probably say a little bit like sort of stopping smoking. I'm going to stop smoking now. Right? So I'm determined that the next 3 months are going to be better for me in terms of my food, which will hopefully then see my body weight and my body fat reduce. I mean, I have got myself down to under 100 kilos. Like back last summer, I weighed in, I think, at 97 kilos at my lowest. That's 5 kilos lower than where I am. So look, I know I can do it. I just need to knuckle down. So there we go. That was the results of my body scan. If you haven't seen the previous DEXA scan video, then click here. You can have a look at that. If you haven't seen last week's lemons for leukemia, I've only just got the taste of lemons out of my mouth. Then click here. And if you're not subscribed already, what are you waiting for? Click here. Now, if you make one change this week, track your progress so you don't die fat.